Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by Closers.io, where we dive into the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and explore the road ahead for them and their companies. I'm your host, Zach Young, and in each episode, we uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced along the way, and the strategies driving their future growth. Today, we're joined by Bridget Hom, an executive mindset coach, business strategist, and founder of Bridge to Freedom Coaching, where she helps entrepreneurs and leaders align their vision, emotional intelligence, and strategy so they can scale without burning out or losing themselves in the process. Bridget equips clients with her signature mindset, skill set, scale set approach and the PRO.P Method, transforming problems into opportunities and actionable solutions that drive sustainable growth in both revenue and company culture. Bridget, a very, very warm welcome to Founders Future.
Thanks, Zach. Man, that was a powerful intro.
Well, I appreciate it. I stole it right from your social media, so no reason to be modest. It's going to be a great episode. I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, thanks. I'm really excited and inspired to equip your audience. We just want to equip people, right? Equip, empower, inspire, and educate entrepreneurs, leaders, and to more and better, and to be better and do better. I think that's the goal for everyone, right?
Absolutely the goal. We have a lot to dive into. Before we do, I do like to start with your background, though. Before Bridge to Freedom Coaching, before entrepreneurship, what were you doing? And what was really your inspiration for getting into this space?
Oh, this is going to be fun. Well, going back a little bit further, I saved a lot of lives flunking out of nursing school. And then I went for religious studies and communications, and then was a legal news reporter for the 5 boroughs of New York City. Then I was a bougie stay-at-home mom for about a decade with 3 boys, traveled the world, then launched a placement agency, senior placement, where I helped find the right assisted living and memory care facility for loved ones. And then Bridge to Freedom Coaching took on a life of its own during the reinvention of 2020, as I like to call it. And it's kind of a sad, interesting start. I was actually on my way to getting Zoom divorced, moved out of my big, beautiful home, and virtual school happened for my 3 young boys who were under 9 years old at the time. And then I got a random Zoom business networking link. Meanwhile, I had no income coming in, and I had no idea what a Zoom link was, actually, Zach, at that point. But I just showed up on a Thursday morning and said, Bridget Hom here, Bridge to Freedom Coaching. Are you ready to level up? And I had 6 entrepreneur clients in 6 weeks. My programs were born: group coaching, group sales trainings for companies, motivational speaking, and my best-selling book, Stuck on Ready. And I'm about to launch a second book on the PRO.P Method. So that's a little behind the scenes of what happened in a very short amount of time.
I was going to say that was jam-packed into about maybe 45 seconds. I can tell that was not your first time going over that. That was very, very well put together. And might I say, quite a journey, right? A lot of different routes you took, which, as I'm going to take a guess, is kind of why you're probably so good at what you do now, is you've just experienced a lot.
Yes, you don't want to delete anything along your timeline ever, because you never know who it can help you relate to and who it can help in general to help them solve their problems faster.
Very well said. Well, let's just dive right into the present. Walk us through Bridge to Freedom Coaching. It's been around just about 5+ years now. I'm sure it's changed a little bit over the years, but walk us through present day today. What does working with Bridget look like?
Today, I'm equipping those entrepreneurs who have jumped ship from corporate and they need to actually launch their own businesses in 90 days or less. And the scaling entrepreneurs who need new tools. They need to know all the components of business growth, not only how to balance them, but how to really be successful in sales, branding, marketing, mindset, prospecting, closing strategies, social media optimization, et cetera. So today, entrepreneurs hire me to equip them with the mindset, skill set, and scale set for 6-7-figure growth.
Love it. Okay. When you say entrepreneur, that's a wide range of people, right? Do you find yourself working with a specific niche often, or are you truly working with a very wide base of clients?
I'm truly working with a huge base of clients because they all need the same skill set. They all need the problem-aware and solution-seeking mindset. They all need all those components. They need to master sales, marketing, branding. They have to have a reputable brand where they look like the authority in their industry. They need to know how to prospect effectively in a non-salesy way. And they need to know where to prospect and how. And they need to know what a closing conversation looks like. So all of the components, really, bookkeepers, lawyers, doctors, loan originators, realtors, other coaches and consultants who I'm working with right now, they all need the same skill set. Just looks different. Well, it actually doesn't look different at all.
A lot of similarities there, that's for sure. And you mentioned, marketing, sales, something that, and correct me if I'm wrong here, a lot of entrepreneurs come into the game, they may not have, right? They're probably very good at what they do, right? You're a fitness coach, you're a lawyer, like you said. But they're like, hey, I'm not a sales and marketing kind of person. Are you finding this very, very common with your clients?
Always, always. They always come to me and say, listen, I don't want to be in sales. And I said, do you want to go work a 9 to 5? Because that's obviously an option. But if you're going to work for yourself, I tell them the number one skill you need to master is sales. And that means putting it in a perspective that your brain receives well. So for example, I worked with a nurse practitioner who wanted to have her own business. And so I put it in the framework of this. Sales is like being a doctor who diagnoses a problem and then suggests a remedy. I said, that's all you're doing. When you talk to someone, you're just helping them to solve a specific problem faster. And if you have a good remedy, then you present it and then ask them, is this something you want? So you always want to put it through the perspective and the framework that someone can understand. You want to speak to the SEO of your client's mind and your prospect's mind.
You make it seem so simple. But unfortunately, before sales, it gets in people's heads. It's nerve-wracking. You get a little bit of imposter syndrome. Who am I to sell this person something to ask for money? Right? It's a very big mental twist we have to go through.
I totally agree. And that's why mindset's the number one problem and the number one solution, according to the Stanford Institute of Research. Business success is actually 80% mindset, which is why I always address mindset in any scenario, situation with people, because they're always listening to their own mental team. They're literally consulting their mental team. I had a gentleman that I was talking to. He said he was actually listening to his mother's voice when he was in sales calls with people saying, you're never going to own your own business. And so you have to be addressing the mental team, because if your mental team isn't strong and focused on aligning this problem with a solution for that person in front of you, then yes, you're right. You're not going to be able to launch your own business successfully.
Absolutely. You mentioned a little bit off camera ago, you do some group coaching. I'm guessing you do some one-on-one coaching as well. Am I correct there?
Absolutely. In the coaching industry, since it's so saturated, many people who come to me have either spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on coaching, and they got very little results, and they were really missing that one-on-one component. So all of my programs, including my self-paced programs, have a one-on-one component.
Okay, so you're mixing it a little bit together.
Always.
I like that. I like that. Absolutely.
It benefits them. It benefits the clients the most because they get the real results. They get to go a little bit deeper in what their actual problems are, where they might not present that in a group so readily.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned something I'd love to ask about: saturation in the coaching industry, people getting burned by agencies, other coaches, whatever it is. So, I mean, how do you go about standing out from the crowd, from the other millions of coaches out there?
I always say integrity is the biggest component to your foundation and building your authority as a coach. And it's not that I believe the intention of all these agencies and coaches, I like to believe that their intention is always good. And monetizing is not a bad intention, but you must have it on the foundation of integrity and honesty and loyalty to your brand and what you believe people deserve.
Okay. When it comes to, kind of standing out from, let's say on a social media aspect, I have to assume you're pretty active on social media. I might take a stab at LinkedIn. You seem like a LinkedIn girly to me.
I seem like a LinkedIn kind of coach.
You seem, walk me through it.
Well, what I would say, I mean, when I even ask the people who get on my calendar, what was the reason that you wanted to talk to me? It's usually, well, I've been watching your posts and you're always empowering me. You're always empowering me to be better and do better. And they usually use that word. Empowerment means, according to the Webster's Dictionary, giving someone the authority or power to do something. And so all of my presence on social media, it doesn't matter who you are. I want to make sure that your number one goal is to be better and do better. No matter what. So that's always the undercurrent. And when people come to me, they say, listen, this is what makes you stand out. You've been consistent. We've heard you on podcasts saying you work 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. We know that that's your schedule. We know that your boys are your top priority. We know that you love your husband and you guys have an amazing marriage. Like, we know also the struggles that you've been through. We've known you got divorced. We know that you started your company from, zero, and got to where it is. We know that you've had all of these things and you're very real and raw. We know that you're in ministry. So I post a lot of components of my life in such a way where it's not exposing. It's empowering. It's from the lens of empowerment to make sure that people understand that no matter where you come from, you can decide who you will be today. And that's the message that I like to share.
Okay. And I have to assume that consistency has been going on since the beginning, going back to 2020.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
Absolutely. What is currently your favorite social media platform, let's say for business purposes, and why?
I would actually say for the past 6 months, it's been Facebook. Before that, it was LinkedIn, and LinkedIn is a close second. But Facebook is the way the algorithms work. It really, if you know how to have a private Facebook community, if you know how to work the algorithms, and if you know how to run ads, it really, and I haven't run ads myself up to this point. I've worked with hundreds of individuals, but that's really the best place to start running ads based on my research and what's going on for my clients as well, because some of them do run ads. But Facebook is such a social place. I mean, you can go viral easily. One of my clients, actually this morning, she has a placement agency. She did a post and it got 70 shares and 370 likes, and people are reaching out to her to talk to her about her services, which is the goal. And that was just a free post. She probably spent, 20 minutes writing this post. It was very beautifully written. And I actually asked her if she used ChatGPT. She said, I actually wrote it myself and I just used it to help me construct a couple of things within it. But Facebook is actually my favorite platform right now. And I actually forgot to share with you the best piece of business advice I ever got. And this goes back to your question about building your authority as a coach, was just be you wherever you go. And that was from my placement agency days, because I had a business partner who I met salsa dancing. And he said, Bridget, we're going to launch a placement agency. And I said, Walter, I don't understand what you're talking about. And he goes, don't worry, just be you anywhere we go. And that was the best piece of business advice, because it helped me to bypass imposter syndrome, or even my expectations of how I should show up, because that also trips people up. Get out of these expectations of how you should show up and just be who you are and show up. And then just help people solve their problems faster. Ask people empowered questions. Don't be afraid to ask people questions.
I'll go ahead and ask you a couple more if that's okay.
Sounds like a plan.
You mentioned you've worked with hundreds of clients at this point, all organic.
Correct.
Right? That's quite a feat. A lot of people can't really crack the organic game. A lot of businesses do need to implement ads to kind of get that scalable, repeatable system in place. How have you been able to do that purely off organic content?
Well, I did adopt a few tools in the recent years, but it's really about the consistency. I tell my people, you have to feed the beast, so to speak. You have to be visible to rise above your competition. And video is king. You have to have a good amount of video for people to get to know you, because when they see you on social media, which I actually call the powerful prospecting platforms, they get to know who you are. They get to know your mannerisms. So if you reach out, it's no longer a cold direct message. It's no longer any cold outreach. You don't have cold outreach anymore when you have good video content, when you have posts that are relatable and people actually following you. You've already bridged the gap. And so that's what I would say. It's just being consistent, making sure people know your personality, who you are, what you care about, what you love, and they feel like they can relate to you. It's that simple.
Do you implement a posting schedule? Like, hey, I'm going to video Monday, Wednesday, Friday, long form written post Tuesday, Thursday, anything like that? Or is it really kind of just comes as it goes for you?
Well, coming from a journalism background, I really watch my clients. I watch the trends, and I write based on what I'm inspired by oftentimes. And I do also have help. I do have an assistant that helps me, but I make sure that I create my content and she helps me with all the, the fancy stuff around it. But I have a posting schedule that I try to follow, and I'm not perfect at it. I'm definitely not. There are weeks that go by where probably at least maybe a week. I'll let a week go by where sometimes I'll maybe put a story here or a comment here. But I think that actually contributes to the organic nature of the content. Like, hey, life gets busy. Life gets busy, and I have 3 boys and travel soccer. And, if I'm posting, it's because I'm actually inspired to share something with you.
Yeah. That's a big one that I think a lot of entrepreneurs, founders struggle with. Some people are on the, hey, I'm posting every single day on this schedule, versus other people are like, hey, I'm only posting when it's organic to me and it's really my words coming through and I kind of have that idea. So it sounds like you're kind of mixing two of the both, but you're not like 100% structured.
No, I'm definitely mixing it. It's just as many entrepreneurs do. We're like, this inspires me. This doesn't inspire me. Hey, I need to be more disciplined in this area. But it's making sure that you are visible. Number one, that has to be the case. And those, I talk about the 5 components of sales that people look at before they ever look at your product, message, or service is authority, credibility, relatability, energy, and beliefs. And so those 5 components need to be very present in your social media. And that's one of the things that I teach. So it's not always about the amount of content you need to be pushing out. It's about the consistency, the integrity, and are you selling those 5 components to people?
Very important. Very important. Bridget, you mentioned you have an assistant that works with you. Do you have anybody else on your team, or are you really a one-woman show?
In regards to the Bridge to Freedom coaching right now, yes, I am a one-woman show, which between everything, I mean, the referral partners, the way I've structured my coaching business, it's very simple to be able to do that. Eventually, I'm considering creating the Bridge to Freedom Coaching Institute, where I do have coaches that implement the mindset framework, my Find Your Freedom program structure, to equip other coaches as life and business coaches so that they have the whole experience. They get certified in coaching, but then they also know how to sell, brand, market themselves, and navigate social media effectively to have that life that they deserve with the 6 figures and up. So that's one of my future plans, as well as the PRO.P Method, because the PRO.P Method is something that was designed with a business partner, with Scott, and we're actually going to be releasing the book, the PRO.P Method, to help companies get better solution discovery. It's a cognitive thinking process. It's very simple, but it's something that streamlines the solution discovery process for teams and leaders, because they all get caught in the doing trap. But we might talk about that more later. But it's just a couple of things there's so many things that ways that we can inspire and equip people, but we always have to make sure as entrepreneurs, we're thinking bigger. We're thinking bigger and we're doing bigger.
I was absolutely going to ask about the book. Do we have an ETA yet as to when that'll be arriving?
Definitely in January.
Oh, coming out soon. Very soon. Amazon? Is that going to be the best place to find it?
Yep, absolutely. Ebook, hard copy. Yes, indeed.
It's going to be everywhere. Love it. Absolutely love it. So you mentioned, the Institute of kind of growing, helping coaches, certify them. Is that a 2026 goal, or is that more of a maybe a couple years down the line goal?
That's going to be a couple years down the line, because right now, based on the PRO.P Method book coming out, venturing into corporations, especially in this time in our culture where with the rise of AI, the cognitive thinking has decreased greatly. And so I'm really inspired to really hone in on that, on top of the entrepreneurs that I'm working with in my core programs, the group and the one-on-one programs. This is the next phase of growth for me as an entrepreneur, as a founder, but also to really serve the culture with solutions that have a pressing need at this moment.
So 2026 is for getting into those corporations, really spreading the word to the masses.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Yes. They're really stuck in the doing trap. And when I talk to directors of innovation, people in operations in these larger companies, they're like, hey, we are having problems communicating, and it's showing up in conflict, showing up with where our processes to innovation are slow. And sometimes we don't even come up with solutions in our brainstorming sessions. And so this is a very simple 3-step method to get people out of the doing trap and into that time where they actually can think of solutions and address the real problems, not just the symptomology problems, but the undercurrent, the real problem that's causing them to be slow, to not be innovative, and to not get to the next level of scaling for profitability.
For sure, a lot of issues that these corporations have, but Bridget's coming, so they'll be solved soon. I love it. Bridget, where can the listeners find you? Where can they connect with you online?
Well, as we talked about Facebook, I do have a community, Bridge to Freedom coaching community for entrepreneurs and leaders. LinkedIn, just find me, Bridget Hom. And if you do want to do a direction session, we can absolutely chat. It's just bridgethom.me.
Direction session. I like that a lot. I don't think I've heard that one before.
I came up with it.
Love it. Bridget, pleasure having you on. Thank you so much for your time today, and have a very happy New Year's.
You too, Zach.
Thank you. And that will wrap up another inspiring episode of the Founders Feature. To our listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to go and connect with Bridget on all of her social media. Check out her website. All of those links will be in the show notes and description down below. And if you are a business owner, specifically a coach, consultant, or agency owner, and you're looking to scale your business, and you really want to enhance your sales and marketing efforts, visit closers.io to hop on a call with our team and discover how we went from 0 to 30 million per year in less than 3 years. Until then, keep on climbing.